What if I told you that the most famous trophy in all of sports isn't actually the one World Cup champions get to keep? What if I told you that the original FIFA World Cup trophy was stolen, not once, but twice? And even more unbelievable, the first time it disappeared, it wasn't found by the police. It wasn't found by FIFA. It wasn't found by detectives. It was found by an ordinary dog taking a walk with its owner. Sounds impossible, but it's all true. For nearly 100 years, one trophy has become the ultimate symbol of football greatness. Every 4 years, billions of fans stop everything to watch as one captain lifts it into the sky. From the packed stadium in Uruguay in 1930
to the unforgettable nights in Brazil, Germany, South Africa, Qatar, and beyond, this golden prize has witnessed football's greatest triumphs, its most heartbreaking defeats, and some of the most incredible stories the sporting world has ever seen. But here's the surprising part. The trophy we see today is not the same trophy that started the World Cup. The original disappeared forever. A completely new masterpiece had to be created. Hidden behind its golden shine are stories of war, theft, secrets, legendary champions, and moments that changed football forever. So how did the world's most famous trophy begin? Why did it vanish? And what secrets does it still hold as the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 begins? This is the untold history of the FIFA World Cup trophy. What if I told you that the most famous trophy in all of sports isn't actually the one World Cup champions get to keep?
What if I told you that the original FIFA World Cup trophy was stolen? Not once, but twice. And even more unbelievable, the first time it disappeared, it wasn't found by the police. It wasn't found by FIFA. It wasn't found by detectives. It was found by an ordinary dog taking a walk with its owner. Sounds impossible, but it's all true. For nearly 100 years, one trophy has become the ultimate symbol of football greatness. Every 4 years, billions of fans stop everything to watch as one captain lifts it into the sky. From the packed stadium in Uruguay in 1930 to the unforgettable nights in Brazil, Germany, South Africa, Qatar, and beyond, this golden prize has witnessed football's greatest triumphs, its most heartbreaking defeats, and some of the most incredible stories the sporting world has ever seen. But here's the surprising part. The trophy we see today is not the same trophy that started the World Cup. The original disappeared forever. A completely new masterpiece had to be created. Hidden behind its golden shine are stories of war, theft, secrets, legendary champions, and moments that changed football forever. So how did the world's most famous trophy begin? Why did it vanish? And what secrets does it still hold as the road to FIFA World Cup 2026 begins? This is the untold history of the FIFA World Cup trophy. The dream that started it all. The birth of the first World Cup trophy. Long before the FIFA World Cup became the biggest sporting event on Earth, football had a problem. In the early 1900s, the sport was already exploding in popularity across Europe and South America. Millions of people loved the game, but there was one thing missing. There was no tournament to decide the greatest football nation in the world. At the time, international teams only competed in regional competitions, or the Olympic Games. While the Olympics included football, the tournament was limited by strict amateur rules, preventing many of the world's best professional players from taking part. FIFA believed football deserved something much bigger, something that belonged entirely to the beautiful game. That vision belonged to one remarkable man,
Jules Rimet. When he became FIFA president in 1921, he dreamed of creating a global competition where every nation could compete for one ultimate prize. Many people thought the idea was impossible. Travel between continents was expensive and slow. Several football associations were skeptical. Some believed no country would be willing to make such a long journey simply to play football. But Jules Rimet refused to give up. For nearly a decade, he worked tirelessly to convince football nations that the world needed its own championship. Finally, in 1929, FIFA approved his bold vision. The first FIFA World Cup would take place the following year. One country stepped forward with an ambitious offer: Uruguay. The South American nation had just celebrated 100 years of independence and had won back-to-back Olympic football gold medals, making them one of the strongest teams in the world. FIFA accepted the proposal. History was about to be written. But before the first match could ever be played, one important question remained. What should the greatest prize in football look like? That answer would become one of the most iconic trophies in sporting history. First World Cup trophy. With the first FIFA World Cup just months away, one challenge still remained. The tournament had a host, the teams were preparing, the excitement was growing, but there was still no trophy worthy of crowning the greatest football nation on earth. FIFA wanted something that represented far more than victory. It had to symbolize glory, honor, and the universal spirit of football. To bring that vision to life, FIFA turned to a talented French sculptor. His mission was simple, but incredibly important. Create a trophy that the entire world would recognize for generations. The result was a masterpiece. Standing just over 35 centimeters tall, the trophy featured Nike, the ancient Greek goddess of victory. She stood elegantly, with wings spread wide, holding a golden cup above her head as a symbol of triumph and excellence. The trophy was crafted from gold-plated sterling silver and mounted on a beautiful blue stone base, giving it a timeless and elegant appearance. Although it was much smaller than today's FIFA World Cup trophy, its meaning was far greater than its size. This wasn't just a piece of metal. It represented every dream, every sacrifice, every goal, and every nation hopes to become football's first world champion. To honor the man whose vision made the tournament possible, the trophy would later become known as the Jules Rimet Trophy. No one could have imagined that this beautiful prize would survive a world war, be hidden from enemies, be stolen not once but twice, and become one of the most legendary objects in the history of sport. In 1930, the trophy was carefully packed and transported across the Atlantic Ocean to Uruguay. Waiting there were 13 national teams, thousands of passionate supporters, and a date with history. The world's first FIFA World Cup was finally ready to begin. The first champions and the trophy's historic beginning. On the 13th of July, 1930, football history changed forever. The first ever FIFA World Cup kicked off in Uruguay. Only 13 nations accepted the invitation. 7 came from South America, 4 from Europe, and 2 from North America. Compared to today's 48-team tournament, it was a much smaller competition, but its importance was beyond measure. For the very first time, countries from different continents gathered to compete for one dream: to become the world's first football champions. The atmosphere was unlike anything football had ever seen. Packed stadiums, passionate supporters, and a nation determined to prove it belonged at the top of world football.
As the tournament progressed, one team stood above the rest: the host nation, Uruguay. Displaying exceptional teamwork, determination, and skill, they fought their way to the final against their fierce neighbors, Argentina. The match took place at the legendary Estadio Centenario in Montevideo. More than 68,000 supporters filled the stadium, creating an unforgettable atmosphere. The tension was overwhelming. At halftime, Argentina led the match. Many believed Uruguay's dream was slipping away. But champions are remembered not for how they begin. They're remembered for how they respond. Roared on by their home crowd, Uruguay mounted an incredible comeback. Goal after goal, belief spread across the stadium. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard read Uruguay 4, Argentina 2. For the first time in history, a national team had become FIFA World Cup champions. Captain Hossein Nazazi proudly stepped forward and lifted the beautiful trophy high into the air. That single moment became one of the most iconic images in football history. It wasn't just the birth of a champion, it was the birth of a tradition that would unite billions of football fans for generations to come. Little did anyone know, the trophy that had just begun its incredible journey would soon face challenges far greater than any football match, because only a few years later, the entire world would be at war. World War II and the trophy's greatest escape. Just as the FIFA World Cup was beginning to capture the world's imagination, history took a devastating turn. In 1939, the Second World War erupted. Nations that had once competed on the football pitch were now facing one another on the battlefield. Across Europe, stadiums fell silent. Football competitions were suspended. Millions of lives were changed forever. For the first and only time in history, the FIFA World Cup was canceled twice. The tournament scheduled for 1942 and 1946 never took place. For football fans around the world, it was a heartbreaking pause. But while the world focused on the war, another quiet battle was taking place. The battle to protect football's greatest treasure, the Jules Rimet Trophy. As bombs fell across Europe and cities became increasingly dangerous, there were growing fears that the priceless trophy could be stolen, destroyed, or simply disappear forever. One man refused to let that happen. Ottorino Barassi, an Italian football official and FIFA vice president, secretly removed the trophy from a bank vault where it had been stored for safekeeping. Knowing it would be too risky to leave it there, he made an extraordinary decision. Instead of hiding it in a museum or another secure building, he hid it inside an ordinary shoebox. Then he placed the shoebox beneath his own bed. It was one of the last places anyone would think to look. For years, while war raged across Europe, football's most valuable prize remained hidden in complete secrecy. As bombs fell across Europe and cities became increasingly dangerous, there were growing fears that the priceless trophy could be stolen, destroyed, or simply disappear forever. One man refused to let that happen. Ottorino Barassi, an Italian football official and FIFA vice president, secretly removed the trophy from a bank vault where it had been stored for safekeeping. Knowing it would be too risky to leave it there, he made an extraordinary decision. Instead of hiding it in a museum or another secure building, he hid it inside an ordinary shoebox. Then, he placed the shoebox beneath his own bed. It was one of the last places anyone would think to look. For years, while war raged across Europe, football's most valuable prize remained hidden in complete secrecy. Few people knew where it was, and thanks to that remarkable act of courage,
the trophy survived. When peace finally returned, so did football. The world was ready to celebrate again. In 1950, after a 12-year absence, the FIFA World Cup returned. The Jules Rimet Trophy emerged from its hiding place, untouched and ready to begin a new chapter. But its greatest adventure was still yet to come. The World Cup trophy was stolen. Then, a dog solved the mystery. By 1966, the FIFA World Cup had become the biggest football tournament on the planet. England was preparing to host the competition for the very first time. Excitement filled the country. Millions of fans were counting down the days until kickoff. As part of the celebrations, the Jules Rimet Trophy was placed on public display at an exhibition in London. Thousands of visitors came to admire football's greatest prize. Security appeared to be tight. Everything seemed perfectly safe. Until one shocking Sunday afternoon. On March 20, 1966, the impossible happened. The World Cup trophy vanished. Someone had stolen it. The news spread around the world within hours. England was in disbelief. How could the most valuable trophy in football simply disappear? Police immediately launched one of the biggest investigations in British sporting history. Detectives questioned witnesses. Thousands of tips poured in. Roads were searched. Buildings were inspected. Even a ransom demand was sent, promising the trophy's return in exchange for money. But every lead ended in disappointment. Days passed. The tournament was getting closer, and football's greatest prize was still missing. Then, something extraordinary happened. In a quiet South London neighborhood, a man was taking his dog for a routine walk. The dog's name was Pickles. As they passed a garden hedge, Pickles suddenly stopped. He sniffed at a small package wrapped in newspaper. Curious, his owner picked it up. Inside was the missing Jules Rimet trophy. Against all odds, the greatest mystery in football had been solved. Not by detectives, not by security experts, but by an ordinary dog. And football's greatest prize was still missing. Then, something extraordinary happened. In a quiet South London neighborhood, a man was taking his dog for a routine walk. The dog's name was Pickles. As they passed a garden hedge, Pickles suddenly stopped. He sniffed at a small package wrapped in newspaper. Curious, his owner picked it up. Inside was the missing Jules Rimet trophy. Against all odds, the greatest mystery in football had been solved. Not by detectives, not by security experts, but by an ordinary dog. The story captured headlines across the globe. Pickles instantly became an international hero. He appeared on television, posed for photographs, and even received special awards for his incredible discovery. The World Cup trophy was safely returned to FIFA, just in time for the tournament to begin. It remains one of the most unbelievable stories in football history. But the trophy's remarkable journey was far from over. Only 4 years later, a football nation would achieve something so extraordinary that the Jules Rimet trophy would leave FIFA forever. Brazil changes history forever. The year was 1970. The FIFA World Cup had arrived in Mexico. By now, the tournament had become a global spectacle. Millions of fans around the world watched every match, while football's greatest nations battled for the ultimate prize. But one team stood above them all: Brazil. Already champions in 1958 and 1962, they entered the tournament chasing an achievement no nation had ever accomplished before: a third World Cup title. From the opening match
Brazil looked unstoppable. Their football was fast, creative, fearless. Every attack thrilled the crowd. Every victory brought them one step closer to history.
Then came the final. Brazil faced Italy, another football giant with a rich tradition. The world watched as two legendary nations competed for football's greatest prize. When the final whistle blew, the scoreboard told the story. Brazil 4, Italy 1. It was one of the greatest performances ever seen in a World Cup final. As the celebrations began, the Brazilian captain stepped forward and lifted the Jules Rimet trophy high above his head. It wasn't just another championship. It was a historic moment that would change the future of the trophy forever. At the time, FIFA had a special rule. Any nation that won the FIFA World Cup 3 times would earn the right to keep the Jules Rimet trophy permanently. Brazil had done exactly that.
For the first time in history, the original World Cup trophy was leaving FIFA. It would now belong to Brazil forever. The decision marked the end of an incredible era. For 40 years, the Jules Rimet trophy had traveled across continents, survived a world war, been hidden beneath a bed, disappeared in one of football's greatest mysteries, and inspired generations of players. Now, its journey as football's championship trophy had come to an end. But FIFA faced a new challenge. The world's biggest sporting event could not continue without a trophy. A completely new masterpiece had to be created, one that would represent the future of football for generations to come. And soon, a design unlike anything the world had ever seen would become the new symbol of football's greatest dream.
The birth of the modern FIFA World Cup trophy. With the Jules Rimet trophy now permanently in Brazil's possession, FIFA faced a challenge unlike any before. The world's greatest football tournament needed a new symbol. Not just another trophy, but a masterpiece that could represent the dreams of every football nation for generations to come. So, in 1971, FIFA launched an international design competition. Artists and sculptors from around the world were invited to submit their ideas. More than 50 designs arrived from 7 different countries. Each one was unique. Each one hoped to become the new face of world football. But only one design captured the spirit of the beautiful game. The winning creation came from an Italian sculptor named Silvio Gazzaniga. His vision was unlike anything seen before. Instead of a traditional cup, he created 2 powerful human figures rising from the earth, their arms stretched high toward the sky, holding up the entire globe. It was a symbol of unity, a symbol of victory, and a reminder that football belongs to every corner of the world. Unlike the Jules Rimet trophy, this new masterpiece was made primarily from 18-karat solid gold. It stands 36.8 centimeters tall, weighs approximately 6.2 kilograms, and rests on a beautiful circular base made from 2 layers of green malachite, a rare natural stone. Its golden surface reflects light from every angle, making it instantly recognizable anywhere in the world. But perhaps the most remarkable detail is what it represents. It isn't simply a prize. It represents decades of sacrifice, countless hours of training, millions of childhood dreams, and one unforgettable moment when a captain lifts it high above their head as the world watches. In 1974, at the FIFA World Cup in West Germany, the new trophy made its historic debut. For the first time, football's newest masterpiece was lifted into the sky. A new chapter had begun, a chapter that continues today.
Yet, despite its beauty, its story was far from over. Because while FIFA had created a brand new trophy, the original Jules Rimet trophy still had one final mystery waiting to unfold.
The trophy that vanished forever.
Although the FIFA World Cup had a brand new trophy, the original Jules Rimet trophy still held a special place in football history. After Brazil's historic third World Cup victory in 1970, the trophy was proudly displayed at the headquarters of the Brazilian Football Confederation in Rio de Janeiro. It wasn't just a trophy anymore. It had become one of the most valuable and recognizable objects in world sport. Millions of football fans dreamed of seeing it, but no one imagined it would soon disappear forever. On the morning of December 20th, 1983, football history took another shocking turn.
Thieves broke into the headquarters of the Brazilian Football Confederation. The building's security was no match for their carefully planned operation. Within minutes, the priceless Jules Rimet trophy was gone. Once again, football's most famous trophy had been stolen. Police immediately launched a nationwide investigation. Detectives searched for clues. Witnesses were questioned. Suspects were arrested. For months, the investigation dominated newspaper headlines across Brazil. Everyone hoped the trophy would be recovered, just as it had been in England years earlier. But this time, there would be no miracle, no lucky discovery, no heroic dog named Pickles. The Jules Rimet trophy had vanished without a trace. Investigators later believed the thieves melted the trophy down and sold the gold on the black market. Although several people were convicted for the crime, the original trophy itself was never recovered. It remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in football history. The very trophy that had survived a world war, been hidden beneath a bed, crossed oceans, and crowned the first World Cup champions, had disappeared forever. Thankfully, football's greatest prize had already entered a new era. The modern FIFA World Cup trophy remained safe under FIFA's protection. And after the heartbreaking loss of the Jules Rimet trophy, FIFA introduced even stricter security measures to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. Today, the original Jules Rimet trophy exists only in photographs, historic film footage, and the memories of football fans around the world. But its incredible legacy will live on forever. Many football fans believe that every World Cup champion takes the famous golden trophy home forever. But that's not actually true. The trophy lifted on the podium belongs to FIFA. After the celebrations, it is carefully returned and protected under strict security. The champions receive an official gold-plated replica instead, allowing them to celebrate their historic achievement while the original remains safely preserved for future tournaments. It's a reminder that the FIFA World Cup trophy doesn't belong to one nation. It belongs to football itself. In 2026, the world's most famous trophy will once again take center stage. For the first time ever, the FIFA World Cup will be hosted by 3 nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and feature 48 teams, making it the biggest tournament in football history. Another generation of players will chase the same dream. Another captain will lift football's greatest prize. And another unforgettable chapter will be written. The question is, who will make history next? For nearly 100 years, the FIFA World Cup trophy has traveled across continents, survived a world war, been stolen, recovered, replaced, and witnessed some of the greatest moments football has ever seen. But despite all its incredible history, its story is still being written, perhaps the greatest chapter hasn't happened yet. Now it's your turn. Which country do you believe will lift the FIFA World Cup trophy in 2026? Leave your prediction in the comments below. We'd love to see your picks and discuss them with you. If you enjoyed this journey through football history, please like this video, subscribe to Sports Chronicles, and turn on notifications so you never miss our football documentaries, hidden stories, and World Cup history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of Sports Chronicles.